All right. Hello and welcome back to our next International Education KC FIKA series. My name is Corey Owen, and I am currently serving as the Dean of Students at Yale and US College in Singapore. And I have a special guest today who is actually one of my colleagues at Yale and US. Jimin, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so my name is Jie Min. I use he, him pronouns, and I currently work as a senior executive of intercultural engagement here at Yale NUS Student Affairs Office. And I've been working here for the past 3 years, almost 3 years.
Thanks so much. And Jimin is actually one of our esteemed alums as well. So it's kind of nice because I get to pick his brain about kind of the history of the college and things like that. So you may be wondering why I'm interviewing a colleague for this FIKA video series, and it's actually because we are getting ready for the NASPA conference, which includes the International Symposium, where we'll be announcing some of the different projects and research that's been done and awards that have been given out for the IEKC. Jim Mins has spearheaded a program here at Yale and US that was one of the nominations for Best Program for International Education. So, Jimin, can you tell us a little bit about Makan Makan? What does that mean? Where does it come from? And all the details.
Yeah, of course. So makan makan, this is a Malay phrase and it means to eat. And Malay is one of the national languages of Singapore. And basically, this whole program is a program where we encourage students to showcase food from their culture. So in essence, a student would come to my office and they would tell me like what culture that they really want to share with their friends, and they would write a proposal and choose a restaurant or choose a place to go to and bring the rest of their friends or other students to come and enjoy the food. And at the same time, also um, we also like them to do a bit of like a cultural sharing. And yeah, it's been a really successful program in the past. I think in the academic year 2023 to 2024, we had probably had more at least 10 of those makan makan events, and we've had Turkish cuisine, we've had Italian cuisine, we've had Indonesian, and so on. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I've got to wonder, how do you ensure that there is an educational component? Because it just sounds like the students could eat and hang out with their friends. So, how would student affairs offices that want to replicate this ensure that there is some kind of educational component?
Yeah, that's a great question. So before we approve all of these programs, I always have a face-to-face chat with the student and to really talk through like the intention of the program. So so that I get a sense and I feel assured that this student is genuine about wanting to share their culture and they're not just trying to get food for like two of their best friends or something. And yeah, we ensure that they have to create like a sign up form. They show me how they choose the participants who get to go for this, and they do a short write up of the kind of learning objectives that they want to go through. Yeah, so one example that came to mind was we had one student who had previously interned or worked at a fine dining restaurant, and he wanted to kind of share this experience on a smaller level within our university to kind of democratize this fine dining experience for like many students. And he successfully did 4 iterations of this like mini fine dining experience for bringing in cuisines from I think it was Italian, Singapore, Italian cuisine, Singapore cuisine, and Turkish cuisine. Yeah.
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, so so this student would bring in a friend who can cook, and that friend would prepare all the food, and then the student Sid, he would be going through a really nice like fine dining menu and like go through the thought process behind each food and what does it represent to the chef and their culture. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, so it sounds like that the students can, if they're hosting, they can choose to either go to a restaurant or to cook themselves, which kind of gives some flexibility. That's great. And since I know, this program so well, I'll add for the audience that I know that it was really interesting because we often saw a lot of exchange students getting involved with Makan Makan over the years. And I think part of it is because they're here for such a short amount of time. They really want to throw themselves fully into things like this. Such an exciting way for them to share a little bit about their culture with their friends that they're making in a short span of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought of one that I attended a few years ago. Um, I think they were two German exchange students, and they booked our buttery, which is this space that students can use to cook and prepare food. And they bought something like 20 different types of German bread, of different shapes and sizes, of different colors, and try a bunch of traditional German spreads. And it was such a big hit. And then on the on the TV screen, they would be projecting like slides that are running that showcase all these different 20 types of bread. And I just thought that was like the funniest thing. But students really enjoyed learning about that. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I just hosted a makan makan myself recently, and I took about 15 students over to a Korean restaurant. And I think the highlight for them was to learn a little bit about Black Day and how single Koreans can celebrate being single by eating jjajangmyeon and how that's kind of evolved over time. I think people got really excited about that. Well, thank you so much, Jimin, for your time and your expertise. I think this is an amazing program that many schools can implement because it's pretty, it doesn't have to be a lot of work. It doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, you could just do a bunch of bread, it sounds like, and it'll be a hit. Thank you so much for submitting your program to the IEKC Awards. I'm excited for anyone joining us in New Orleans this year so we can learn more about some of the other programs. And we'll look forward to seeing you at the next FIKA. Bye bye.
Thank you for having me, Corey.